What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Sutton Sanctuary Podcast.
Brand new episodes with special guests and myself coming to you weekly.
Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe so you guys are up to date and get notified right whenever those new episodes are dropped.
Once you guys are done with that, head on over to Hydrate12 IV Therapy and Wellness on Facebook and Instagram and get your IV scheduled today.
The Sutton Sanctuary Podcast on YouTube and Spotify, as always. Thank you guys for watching. We're rolling. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're in the sanctuary with my boy. It's been so long, dude. So long. Tucker Gray.
Yep.
Dude, there was a time I always think about it in like my past life, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, there was a time where it was like every single day
Yeah.
we were together from like the time we would wake up, dude, be like 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
just hanging out all day,
Yeah.
all night long,
Yeah.
for years,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just burning it down.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Good times, but
Sure.
some rough times too. But
sure, yeah, it's
it's been a minute though.
yeah, and now
Yeah.
like to be sitting here, and then you said that you just celebrated 4 years
Yeah.
of sobriety like a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago, so congrats on that.
Yeah. Thank you.
How's it feel? 4 years, man.
It's man. I kind of always dreamed about actually getting free.
Right.
And kind of breaking the cycle. Um, and you still got to take every day as its own, but I'm super grateful. When I wake up every morning, super grateful for where I'm at and where, God has allowed me to be at today.
No.
'Cause
Like there was a time, where like if you'd have said that we were both gonna be sobered up, like not
Yeah.
just running wild, I'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
no shot. Like
Yeah.
this is forever. You know? Like,
Riding around North City.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's forever, dude.
And man,
Yeah.
it's just yeah, some good times, it started out good.
Yeah.
Started out good.
Yeah.
And
No, I get what you're saying though, because I remember going to that first rehab uh in Bowling Green and being like, yeah, there's no way.
yeah.
I had been there for, a few days, just got out of the hospital, jail, all that stuff, and kind of getting my mind back and being like, yeah, no way. No, no way is this a sustainable like way to live, which is, kind of shines a light on the illness there. But,
Right.
I was like, I don't see how does anybody do this? How do they go every day and not, you know, alter their life?
Dude. Well, that's what's so crazy is like it was it was like such a normal way
Yeah.
to live. It was just like getting wrapped up in it, and that's like it's a something I always like to whenever I talk to people about it. Like, when was like how early did you think you like started drinking?
Hmm. I don't. I don't know. Like, you mean just like playing around, kind of, or
Or just like the first drink? Do you remember?
young,
Yeah,
very young?
probably trying to think. Probably sixth grade, seventh grade.
Yeah, I mean, first trying it. Yeah, yeah,
And
probably.
then what, like steadily drinking by freshman year,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, yeah. Doing the party,
Yeah.
that
But
whole thing.
it was like that, not to sound like, but like everyone was for like
Yeah,
there's a lot of people and there's
yeah,
nothing else to do. in the area. Like, that's another sad reality. It's like, what else do you want me to do? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. That definitely played somewhat of a part. But I knew pretty early on I was
Yeah.
something was I knew that was going to be a problem for me.
You think so? You
I
knew
did.
so from the beginning, the first time you kind of started drinking, doing it, maybe like smoking some weed or whatever. It was like, oh, I really like this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
how it was for
especially
me.
when I first started experimenting with drugs and stuff.
Hmm.
I was like, yeah, this
Yeah,
this is gonna
dude,
be a
it was
problem.
fun.
Yeah. I didn't think that it would come to, I'm sure where we'll get to,
Right.
the the lows that I found myself at.
Hmm.
But I definitely knew that I liked feeling a certain type of way.
Dude.
I liked it a lot. Uh,
Yeah, it was. It's crazy. This is like our first time even talking about a lot of this stuff.
yeah,
Like going back to
yeah,
it
for sure.
because it all shut off like so quick.
Yeah,
It went from like being together all the time to just
yeah,
like complete separation
yeah,
to worlds apart.
yeah, yeah,
Like things had to change.
yeah.
You
No,
know.
in reality, that was God doing for me what I couldn't do for
Hmm.
myself. You know, I needed to be isolated. Um, yeah, I need some time to reflect.
Well, there was for however many years we were on the road working, like there was no time to like stop
Yeah,
and be like, whoa, what is going on?
yeah,
You know?
yeah,
And then by the time it did come to that, it was like too late.
yeah,
It was like it was too late.
yeah.
The yeah, so like kind of starting at the beginning,
Mhm,
it's like in high school,
mhm.
a lot of it what like for you to just start out, it was like the weed. And back then there was like some people using cocaine. It wasn't, I don't know, like North City, it wasn't
Yeah,
a crazy thing. That was
mhm,
like more something that was like coming from Carmi
yeah,
a lot of the times.
yeah,
Um, that was like one of the early ones for me. Like
mhm,
the first time that I tried that, and I was like, ah,
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Like, whew. Like
Yeah, man.
just being like on 10, I was like, I like that.
Yeah,
Um,
no, true.
and that was like pretty normal, but you know, that wasn't like a normal thing, even like in high school.
Mhm.
Like when did it, when do you think it like took a turn where it was like kind of harmless to maybe like now looking back, you're like, oh yeah, that like,
Yeah, when like I remember thinking that, just the drinking and partying and whatever, like I remember feeling like, and it is to some extent normal. Um, or it is normal. Um, but well, yeah, when I when I really got into it and I figured out that I didn't even really like the partying, but I liked getting super drunk and driving or um doing anything that just maximized my the risk factor.
yeah, definitely.
Um I picked up on that pretty early on. Uh the more risk in my mind at that time, it was more reward.
Oh yeah.
Like it's a sickness, man.
Well, dude, we did it for so long,
Yeah,
from such like as soon as we could drive.
yeah,
So it
yeah.
was just like,
Well,
yeah,
even before I could drive, that was my gig. Was you know s- certain friends would come pick me up, and then we'd all get drunk before I had my license, and then like I'm talking about, I enjoyed that little bit extra risk, and I would end up being the one behind the wheel. Like it doesn't even make sense looking back. That's where my mind was at at that early
yeah,
of a point, and it just progressed from
yeah.
there. But definitely, like to answer your question with the drinking, and as I saw the drinking escalate, not even so much just with how much I was drinking, but my activities
Yeah.
and, the things that I was trying to, you know, what I was participating in,
Dude,
as time went on and what I became okay with. And
I'll never forget that one time. That it was, I wasn't there. I wasn't there. It was never you were at Murray, and I hadn't saw you in a while. You'd been gone like a week or two. You come back to town, I get in the car, and you're just like casted up on your hand.
oh yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
dude, what in the hell did you do to your hand? And you were just like, I put it through the ceiling. And I was like, what? I was like, why did you do that? Like, it just,
Yeah.
it like, it was just, and we were like, oh, well,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's some shit we would do.
Yeah.
Like, and then it was just back to whatever we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know why that always stuck out to me though, but it's like I hadn't saw you in so long, and just get in the car and you're just casted up, and
Just another day.
yeah, we're
Just
like,
another day.
whatever,
Yeah.
rolling on.
Yeah. Nah, there were several. Yeah. Yeah, we could sit and talk about that kind of stuff all day. There's several moments. Not my proudest.
Trying to think, I feel like because it's a lot of people knew that we ran
Mhm.
as heavy as we did.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. And then it was like just like quiet from us,
Yeah.
like nothing. So there was, probably a lot of speculation about like how things had transpired or like what had been going on because we hadn't been around for I don't know, a year, maybe
Mhm.
year and a half at that point, maybe
Yeah.
even closer to 2.
Mhm.
Because I know like stepping into the hard side of the drug use,
Yeah.
it like always stuck out to me and like struck me pretty hard, being that we like got into that
Mhm.
together.
Yeah.
And like, I've joked like, not really joked, but people have asked like how you get to that point, or what makes you get to the first time where you're like, oh, I'm gonna try something like meth.
Mhm.
And literally, it's like didn't have enough money or couldn't find
Yeah.
coke. So at
Yeah.
that point, once you're at that point, you're already so far gone. But that always like, and I don't know that I haven't really talked about that with too many people
Yeah.
about how like we kind of went into that together
Yeah.
and started that journey together.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why it's always like whenever we talked about like the rehabs and conversations we've had in the past, it's always like kind of struck me,
Yeah.
and I've always like felt some type of way about the way that everything went down.
Yeah.
Um, like I had a part to play in that, and like part of it was my fault. Um, but is that, I guess I could, we could kind of jump in there and jump into like where we were at like in life because that's where, that's where things I feel like really
Mhm.
escalated, where it was like it wasn't fun and games anymore
Right.
after that.
Yeah.
I guess you could say.
Yeah. I mean, before that, we were really just burning time,
Hmm.
wasting time, and you know, going nowhere. But weren't so far off the beaten path that wasn't catching too much flack from
Yeah.
people and whatever. But yeah, at that point, because I remember, um, yeah, I remember starting down that road and being like, yeah, this is it. I've arrived. Um, this is the way I want to feel forever.
Yeah.
Uh, and that I remember riding down the road one time by myself, um, and kind of having a moment where I don't know why this moment sticks out in my mind, but I remember riding down the road and being like, man, like, because I knew of other people that had tried this or that, and they're like, "Ah, I just didn't really like it, or
Hmm.
this, whatever." I'm like, man, this stuff has me in an absolute chokehold that I
Yeah.
can't. It was like a moment of, I forget what they call it in AA. I'm not really an AA guy, but I think it was like a moment of clarity. Um, I was like, yeah, this stuff has me
Mm,
in a way that I'm not getting out of this.
right.
Um, I can't just go back home and uh,
Drop it.
yeah. And that was kind of, that was a scary moment. Uh, I didn't know what I was gonna do and how I was gonna solve that problem, and thankfully I didn't have to. Um, it got solved for me.
Yeah.
Not the way I wanted, but uh, yeah. I don't know if that really answered your question or not, but
Yeah, the moment of clarity, that's it's like while people are using, they'll have that like moment of clarity where they're like, oh, this is now like
mhm.
just bigger than me using now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
And that first stint didn't last super, super long. Um, it was really bad and really rough for me.
mhm,
Um, I remember one time I was with that girl,
mhm,
and I met up with you and another friend of
mhm.
ours. Because I remember that was right. I was teetering on that point of like, you guys were super concerned,
Yeah.
um, and I was in terrible, terrible shape, but I didn't totally realize how bad off I was. And I remember meeting up with you guys at, I guess that was Bradshaw Park
Yeah.
one night, and I was with her, and you guys had me get in the car with you just and leave her in there for a minute. Basically being like, man, what's
Yeah.
going on? And I think I had a thing on my thumb already where it was starting to, fester up, and
Yeah, that was the first time I saw it.
yeah,
Andrew had already seen it.
yeah,
I didn't know that that had happened.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. So, but I remember, having that conversation and being like, oh yeah, I am in pretty rough shape, and um, yeah, I don't know, that was another thing that just stuck out in my mind. Yeah, I'm too far gone. And I
mhm,
left there kind of
yeah.
with that, just kind of like a final, I was like, okay, this is it. I'm going down this road and I can't come back. And
Yeah.
that's what I continue to do.
Yeah.
Um, but that's when, shortly thereafter, my first run kind of came to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
Uh, I got smacked in my face. But yeah, learning,
Yeah,
learning experience.
you'd always end up real upset with us.
Yeah, I did.
And then you just end up leaving.
Yeah,
And we're like,
yeah,
we're gonna piss him off, but we gotta say something,
yeah.
you know. Um,
Yeah. No, because that was when I started shooting dope for the first
yeah.
time, and that's a whole nother world.
Yeah, I never stepped into that world.
Yeah, yeah, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Uh
That always made me real nervous.
huh.
I was like,
Yeah,
you know, I tested it out and but the needles, I was like,
yeah,
that makes me nervous.
yeah,
And it made me nervous whenever I found out that you had been using them.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. It
that's
made me
whenever
nervous.
that's whenever me and Andrew were like, we gotta say something.
Yeah,
We're like, it's probably not gonna go well, but we
yeah,
gotta say something.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then you mentioned that kind of leads into like you said like your first stint had kind of come to a screeching halt,
yeah,
which I remember pretty well.
yeah.
Uh, that was the night that you got pulled over.
Yes.
Yeah, you like just been hanging out with us
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I took that girl back to where she was from and came back really late, and I'd been up for I don't know how many days. And as I was pulling back into the hotel, and it's crazy that I even made it that far, because I kept doing more, doing more, doing more, trying to stay up and
Yeah.
whatever, and my eyes were like crossing and stuff. Um, I remember just being just absolutely reckless, man. Definitely no business on the road, around people, none of that. Um, but as I was pulling back into the hotel, yeah, the cop pulled up behind me, and I pulled into my usual parking spot. Um, and I was like, man, I made it. I'm home.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going inside.
Yeah.
No, you're not. It's yeah, yeah.
Dude,
He
that.
searched the car and all that stuff. Yeah, hard times.
Yeah, I remember. I remember. I think it was late that night or the next morning. Andrew had texted me, dude, and he was like, he said Tuck got arrested last night. I remember reading that and going, "Thank God."
Yeah,
And I texted him back and I said, "Thank God."
yeah,
Good.
yeah,
Like it was. It was a sigh of relief.
yeah, yeah. Thankfully, I ended up at the hospital the next day. Um, and I still have some of those pictures from being in the hospital, and I guess my mom took one in like the waiting room. Um, and man, it was just insane to see the kind of shape I was in, and my thumb. Like, I don't know if I ever showed you those pictures or not, but I'll have to. It was wild, man.
Yeah.
They said my blood was like going septic or whatever. I don't totally understand all of it, but they said
Yeah.
I was in really
Yeah.
bad shape with no intention of
So stopping.
no, no.
Yeah. That was whatever higher power you believe in.
Yeah.
Cinecop
Yeah.
right behind you.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
he's set like right there at the hotel. It's
Yeah.
such a bizarre story. And
Yeah.
like whenever I heard it, I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you and me had sat in that same exact parking spot probably just days before. I was like, I'm good right here. Like, why is
Yeah.
this guy bothering me? Yeah, he didn't feel that way.
Yeah, what a and that was your first stint at the rehab.
Yes. A year.
The year.
365 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that was
Yeah.
like, we were still like not super connected, but I think it was like after you gotten arrested, we didn't talk for a while.
Yeah.
And then after you got into rehab,
Mm-hmm.
you called. And I think that was the first time like we had
Yeah.
spoken since
Yeah.
everything kind of went down.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and just to clear my side of the street, I was salty with the whole world,
Yeah.
at that time. But I don't know. And I don't think I ever really expressed that to you or anything, but
Yeah, no.
yeah, man, I was so lost, so angry, really with myself. Um, but yeah, at that time I was in rough shape, man. I wanted to find anybody else to blame, and yeah, I held a pretty strong resentment
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, I felt it.
Yeah.
But like I knew that's how like we knew that me and Andrea talked about it. We were like, he's not gonna be happy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we knew that.
Yeah.
Like because like I said we just seen you like a couple days before and we already knew. Like you were hanging out with us and you still didn't like us really. Like
Yeah.
you were showing up still, but like you weren't that happy about it. Like it was
We all knew what it was. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I do remember I remember talking that first time that I remember you you eventually calling me wanting to leave,
Yeah.
man. I was like, Doug, bro, cannot, dude. Like, you cannot. I was like, I don't know. I think I was living in Fairfield or something, dude. I don't know. Where the fuck was I? That'd have been way later. I don't even know.
That would have been
Maybe back home, I guess.
5, 6 years ago. I don't know. That would have been a long time ago.
Oh no, I think that's whenever I was doing underground. Still, I think.
Oh,
So
really?
like, yeah, I think that was around that time. Remember, because
Okay.
yeah, because
Yeah.
Andrew ended up coming down there and working with me in Florida doing underground, and you would call us,
Yeah.
and yeah, we would talk to you.
I
Yeah.
do remember that. Yeah, I was salty about that too. I was
I
salty
know,
about that.
dude.
I was like, man, for one, that was the last place that I wanted to be, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, and in my mind, I was like, man, even though it was as bad as it was, I was like, man, I got caught one time, and here I am spending a year,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Like, 365 days is a long time.
Mhm. Yeah. Dude, I didn't even know they did that
Yeah,
at first.
they do.
Dude, they
I've done
sure.
it twice.
Oh,
I've done a year twice.
I didn't know you did it.
Yeah.
A full year to the second time.
Yeah. No. Well, I did that year, and then I did several shorter stints after, the first big one. And then obviously those weren't working because they kept just calling those little ones, like a refresh or any sort
Little
of
ones like
any way I can manipulate just to
what's
get
a
it.
what's a little one though? What are you talking like?
It's 30
Oh,
days, 90 days, like short stuff.
did you feel that the first rehab being gone for a whole year is beneficial?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, just strictly
just to
well, for one, that was such a good place.
yeah,
It was called Hope House, in Bowling Green. Uh, Cannot say enough good things about that place.
right on.
The people there, um, man, blessed me.
Yeah,
I'm super grateful for that place. Uh,
because they got they got the salty version of Tuck.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but
I know the version they was dealing with.
yeah,
They had to be God sent in here, bro. Like not to like they had to be.
yeah. No, it was rough, but um, yeah, that great place. Um, at that time for me, it was super beneficial because it put 365 days between me and my last drink of drug.
Yeah.
And what I've come to learn, because even some of my last times trying to get sober and trying to get my life together,
Hmm.
even though I had the want to,
Hmm.
and the right intentions, and I had, I was trying, the best
Yeah.
I could,
Right.
and I thought that there was a chance that I could be done with it all, but I didn't put enough time in between me and my last
Hmm.
use. Um, in my mind, that is for a person that's actually wanting to try to make a change and is actually serious, and they can feel that,
Hmm.
and they know that, hey, it's about my
Yeah.
time. I think I'm ready. If you can find a way to put, and I know that maybe
No,
it's hard to understand, but like,
that's I was gonna say that's a really hard thing for someone that has never dealt with
yeah,
any sort of addiction to understand, but I know exactly what you're talking about like being almost ready.
yeah,
And that's not what any of the closest people around you want to hear.
yeah,
You're like, look, this is gonna happen again,
yeah,
and you know it,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
at least I did.
yeah.
I knew it.
No, I knew it
I
every
would tell
time.
everybody that like it was over,
Yeah,
and inside I was like,
yeah, but I mean, you can't.
or I'd be like, it's over for now.
Yeah,
I'll shut it down for a minute,
yeah,
and then I'll regroup and I'll be fine.
yeah. I mean, you can't. I don't know what people expect if they want you to, like, yeah, I'm not done yet. Like,
Yeah.
you can't say that.
No. Yeah,
but
I know exactly what you mean though. That like the
yeah,
almost ready.
getting the time,
Yeah.
getting the time in is absolutely critical,
Hmm.
and spending that last year like I did, um, at that last program, that even though I went in there knowing this is it,
Yeah.
I'm, never say never, but I went in there ready. We'll say that.
Yeah.
I was 100% ready, and getting that year in where I didn't have a choice but to be sober
Yeah.
was essential
Yeah,
for
that's
long-term
a
recovery.
that's uh, a cool place to be too, like that. Whenever you know, like you're ready,
Yeah.
and yeah, because if it was anything, I was always talking about like, done drinking, not doing it anymore,
Mhm.
and like I said, you always having that like in the back of your mind where you're like, you knew that it wasn't over,
Yeah.
but then like to have that time where it does come and you're like, okay, no, really, like I've had enough, and you hope by that point, like you haven't burnt all the bridges.
Yeah.
You hope you got one, maybe two boats left,
Yeah.
to like hopefully try to get to another island and start fresh again.
Yeah.
But you hope it's not too late at that point, and
Yeah.
and I came pretty close. Let me tell
I
you,
understand.
like
I understand.
pretty close. Um, yes, the so after you got out the first time,
Mhm.
this is like after you like got out that first time is kind of where like I feel like our disconnect kind of happened, where
Yeah.
it was like
Well, I disconnected from the
from
world.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I took that person. I
Yeah.
was salty.
Yeah.
Like not really salty, but I just like I felt like you were kind of like thinking you're like he's the problem, I'm the problem. Really, it was just
Yeah.
me being about myself is
Yeah.
all it was. I was
Yeah.
in my own mess of shit and like
Mhm.
I was just being selfish. So I was like, oh, like, he's mad at me.
Yeah.
And now so like now
Yeah.
I'm salty, like
Yeah.
okay. Um, and then eventually I was like, okay, I know that's not
Yeah.
what this is about, but
Yeah.
that's like, yeah,
No.
shut off from the world.
No. I was mad. I was mad at the world, man.
Yeah.
You know, I spent a year there, and the first 6 months, however many, 6 months, it's literally we'd go to this gym or whatever and do some working out, which was
Hmm.
incredible, which
Yeah.
kept me somewhat sane and
Right.
whatever, but we just had these classes for 6 months. And you'd go to these classes and you'd sit there and be like, man, each and every day that passed, you'd sit there
Yeah.
and be like, how did I find myself here?
Hmm.
How did
Yeah.
how did I find myself in this position where I've got to sit in a room with 30 other grown men,
Hmm.
uh, and talk about, all the mistakes we made over
Right.
and over and over and over, and especially being that young. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm never gonna be these guys. Like,
Yeah.
are you kidding? And sure enough,
Yeah.
yeah, I became one
Yeah.
over and over and over again. But I was mad at the world because of all that. I was like, man, I just sat here in this place for a year. Didn't felt like I had no, my family's way far away.
Hmm.
We'd talk and I'd see them some,
Right.
but uh, on the passes or whatever that you'd get, like once, like you did not get these passes very often, but they were
Hmm.
set up for people that were, are from Bowling Green or whatever. So I didn't even
Sure.
have enough time in the pass to drive or even get picked up and go back home and come back. Like there wasn't enough time,
Yeah.
So
Right.
I was like, man, I'm stranded on this island.
Yeah.
Uh, and I took that personally. I felt like
Yeah.
everybody in my life put me there,
Yeah.
and left me there at that
Yeah.
time. So I left there with a, vengeance.
Right.
I was
Yeah.
pissed off at the world.
How long was it in between the 1 year and that the 6 months before you did that?
Before, no, the 6 months was in that year.
Oh, okay. You're
So the
talking about within the
first,
year.
yeah, the
I got you.
first
I
six
got you.
months was that,
Oh, okay. I got you.
and yeah, so I felt like I was getting tortured
Yeah.
for
Okay. I got you. I got
yeah.
you. Yeah. That's
But yeah, after that place is where the disconnect for
hmm
me, and that's where it's, because I met a great girl right at the end of that stint who saw me doing great and
Right.
whatever right at the end of that, um, and so now I'm free. I'm free of my legal obligations. I'm free
Yeah.
of everything, and I know that it's time to get back, you know, getting back to what I do,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and got this great girl that had to endure
Yeah.
the chaos that
How long was it before you used again?
when I got out of there, a few days,
Yeah.
man.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, within a week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah,
Was that like, was there a lot of people in there that like got out, used again like that quick and
yeah. I mean, I
or you?
lived I lived in a house. I rented a house with two two other guys that I just graduated with, and
Mhm.
we all nobody had any intentions of doing good. I don't think. I mean, I don't know if they ever like said it, but it
Yeah.
for whatever reason it was like understood.
Yeah.
And
So that whole time, like throughout that year, the whole time, were you knowing, like, whenever I
yeah,
get out of here,
I knew
like,
I wanted,
at that point, it was like sober forever was crazy, right?
yes,
That was insane.
yeah, and
That was insane for me for a long
yeah,
time.
and I
Like the
still
thought of,
thought that like, well, I can still, I can go back to being a weekend,
uh,
like
you
I
still
thought
had
that,
that mindset of like you
yeah,
didn't really have a problem.
yeah,
You
yeah,
just needed to like
yeah. I
take a
knew I was
break.
capable of having a problem,
You didn't think you had made it there yet?
yeah, I thought I still had time to,
Yeah.
you know,
hmm
mature in my drug use.
Yeah. I used to have more to figure out.
Yeah,
There
I
was.
just got to figure out how I can successfully get
Yeah.
high.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's every, human's ideal world. How could I just, yeah, be out of my mind and still be like a civilized part of society? Turns out you really can't.
No,
So it doesn't work out very well.
no, it doesn't.
Yeah, like I never. The needles always made me nervous, fam. But like, I went through like a couple months where I was dabbling in it too, like there at the beginning, and it was a comment actually that Andrew had made to me. He said, we got this house, and he made a comment. He said, he goes, damn, he's like, you need to go eat something or something like that, something along those lines.
Yeah, ham sandwich.
And I was just like, what?
Yeah,
And then like I went to the bathroom and took a piss, and then like I just remember looking in the mirror and like I lifted my shirt up and I was like, oh,
yeah,
like I'm getting light.
yeah,
And that's whenever I was like, okay,
yeah.
that's enough of that. And I was like, okay. And like I said, I didn't at that time I didn't realize that like you were
Yeah,
like on your own using it as well. I think we both were.
yeah,
But I didn't realize it. I should have known. Like,
yeah,
but yeah, that was like that one comment. Cause I was always like a little bit kind of like stalkier, beefier, and then just like that comment was like, I have no one's ever. Yeah, no one ever said that to me before. And then I just went took a look. I was like, oh shit.
yeah,
I was like, okay, yeah, this is it. That's enough of that. Yeah, but how so you said within a couple days you were using again.
yeah.
Did it take long before that was like? Because I'm assuming if like every time you'd go back to using, was it always like 10 times worse?
Yes,
Like always,
yeah,
every time you knew you were like
yeah,
coming back with something better.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah,
that's a yeah.
yeah. No, every single time I picked up and dug a deeper
Yeah.
hole. Um, trying new things, trying to see, and at that time I was thinking, well, maybe I can't do meth, right?
Hmm.
Um, Meth doesn't work for me. Okay. So now I'm gonna smoke crack and shoot heroin and
Hmm.
see how that works. And that doesn't work out very well either.
Can't
Uh,
imagine.
so, so I'm trying different things and I'm crashing and burning and I'm trying to hide everything from the people around me, and I absolutely cannot hide something like that. If I look at a drug, I lose 20 pounds immediately. Um, I my pupils dilate like crazy.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it got really bad, really dark, really fast, and it's every single time that I would relapse, it would the time that I actually got to spend using or whatever got shorter and shorter and shorter and
Hmm.
shorter. Whether it was an overdose or getting in because I got in trouble with the law again. Um, a couple of times, yeah, I think a couple of times I put myself back in rehab. Or I say that the girl,
Hmm.
you know, um,
At this time, she was still.
yeah, she hung in there. Um, 'Cause she knew that I wanted to,
Yeah.
you know, when I was good, I was good,
Yeah.
But at that time, I just couldn't shake it. Um, and that was an instrumental thing. I had to lose her, to start coming back around the other side.
Was that like, you think maybe the start of kind of
Yeah,
the curve?
yeah,
Was that kind of that
hmm
moment
hmm
at that time?
yeah,
Was losing her? And you're like, oh shit,
yeah,
this is,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And never got her back. So some things, some bridges
Hmm.
don't rebuild.
Sure.
Uh, so
Yeah. You you said you had a new girlfriend though, new lady in your life.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
how's that going?
it's good. It's
Good.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How long you been with her?
Couple of couple of
Yeah,
months.
just a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Is that do those like past talks come up? Is that I know like you said like
yeah.
you don't really I did like is it something that comes up? Is something that you don't because some people don't want to talk about it. Obviously, you don't mind too much. Like you came into this, but
Yeah.
um, it's always interesting like to kind of hear how people feel about it or um, 'cause I feel like I've kind of gotten to the point where it's like I'm always open to talk about it and have these conversations, but I also don't want it to be like it's
Yeah.
like a part of me, but it's
Yeah.
not all of me,
No, I
you know?
struggled. Yeah, I struggled with that for a long time.
With what part of it?
Um, and with the dating thing and having to have that
Mm,
conversation.
yeah,
Um, because at this point I'm 4 years and some change,
yeah.
sober. Um, so it's been 4 years of having to have that conversation, and I figured
Mm,
it would get, and it does get a little easier every time, just because, um, I've got more time.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that is an extremely difficult hurdle. Um, especially because people would be like, "Oh, I would have never guessed that," or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, like it was bad. Well, tell me about it. And like, okay.
This could take a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, that's a super, super hard thing to,
Mm-hmm.
but you figure out pretty quickly. And not too many times has it been like a deal breaker.
Right.
It definitely has been, uh, a few times.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes it's a problem with the family and,
Mm.
that kind of deal.
Yeah.
But most of the time, you know, it
Right.
people look past it,
Yeah.
and
For sure.
it's mostly, at least for me, in my head, like, man, because even if I
Yeah.
don't share all the details, it's like I know
Yeah.
all the details, and I know
Right.
it,
Yeah. 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 Was that like whenever you were like first getting sober? Did you deal with that sort of like imposter syndrome thing where it was like, like did that, like kind of saying,
like, is this really who I am? Or
yeah,
yeah,
you're in that space where you're like, you know, kind of talking like going back earlier, we talked about you kind of have that moment in your head where you're like, like, okay, this is it, I'm done with it. And then it's, you know, again, you find yourself kind of feeling like you're repeating yourself
yeah,
to your closest people, and they're like, "Oh, I've heard this before,"
yeah,
and now you're like thinking, it's like, "Well, I don't know, like, is this really who I am? I have no idea,"
yeah.
like, and you're,
Thankfully, this last time, this last place that I went was, and I've been sent all over the place, all in Kentucky, but all new places all the time. I don't know anybody, um, and especially at this last one, I didn't know a soul. Um, and I went in there and I knew how I felt, and I knew that I was done.
Mhm.
Um, and so I didn't have anybody there that was like, well, I know how this guy was before.
Yeah,
I was just like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm trying to do.
right,
Um, and thankfully, I was shouldn't care so much what other people think, but
sure,
everyone does.
yeah,
Um, so I was able to just go in there and be like, hey,
yeah,
this is what I'm trying to do, and
hmm,
I don't have to feel guilty because such and such over here knows
right,
that used to do this or do that, or um, I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah. There's a lot of mental struggles, come along with
yeah,
outside of just the drug use,
sure.
and uh, yeah,
Yeah, it's like, those first like 6 months of reconstruction,
yeah,
is like
yeah,
the amount of time it's like just super emotional,
hmm, yeah,
just like catch yourself just crying over shit and like
yeah,
uh yeah, those first like couple of months whenever I first gotten sober, I was just like I struggled real bad with like the who even am I at this point? Like
yeah,
my whole life is revolved around these things that I'm now like walking away from.
yeah,
And you know,
yeah. And how big
it's
of a
a
coward am I
yeah,
that I've hid behind these things for this
yeah.
long? Um,
Then the feeling of like, especially all the people like your friends and stuff, they like haven't heard from you in forever, and it's like you just want to be able to explain to everyone. It's like, look,
yeah,
this is all my fault. Like
yeah,
it was never any like I was, that's like I said before, if you knew me 5 years ago, like you don't know me now.
mm,
You have no idea,
yeah,
and like I'm thankful for that. Um, but yeah, those first like 6 months of just like, dude,
mhm,
this is like
yeah,
a whole complete reconstruction of like every single mental system that
yeah,
I've made for myself over the
mhm,
last since I was 15, 16 years old,
yeah,
and here we are. It's like, where do I even begin?
yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah.
that sucked.
It's a sad reality to
Yeah,
face.
Yeah, which I lucked out because I had, Briley,
Yeah,
and so like I didn't have to, you went through it more,
yeah,
by yourself,
hmm
and uh luckily, like I said, I had Briley that was there the whole time through
hmm
it. Um, but even then, even whenever, and then that's a terrible place to be whenever you have these people around you that like really care and you know that, and you like, this is like, at least for me, it was like I had a hard time like showing gratitude or like just being thankful because you're just so like, oh my God, my life
yeah,
sucks. This is going on, blah blah blah, and like the people around you don't really understand it,
yeah,
and it's like feeling alone whenever you like know you have people all around you is like a really scary place to be.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It is. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got a little too accustomed to like not even really having the people.
Mm,
Like that's something I still like have to get quite a bit better at. Um, because I don't let I I've
yeah.
I've been isolated for
Yeah.
a long time.
Right.
And everybody's at arm's length,
Yeah.
uh, and that's a habit picked up from all that.
Yeah.
Um, kind of a defense mechanism a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I mean, trying to get better and just be a better person, be a better man, be a better, all that stuff. It's a constant battle,
Yeah.
and it's one that I don't think we ever conquer. You know, and that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, at some point, it's kind of like, you know, it's sort of, you kind of figure out that it's like everyone's kind of dealing with the same thing, just on a
hmm
different level,
Yeah.
you know. One thing that I found interesting, because I like at the very beginning, whenever I first stopped drinking, I was going to AA like probably a couple times a week, probably at first, and then went to once a week, and then once a month, and
Yeah.
uh, you know, and I don't know, I had mixed feelings about it. I think it's a great thing, but then like I kind of got to the point where I was like, you know, like I feel like I've got everything off my chest for the most part,
hmm
and it's like I just don't want to
Yeah.
keep living in this
Yeah.
anymore, you
hmm
know? And I didn't know, do you go to AA?
I do not.
Yeah.
I definitely see how it can be a super um, useful tool
Yeah, definitely.
in community. Um, well, like you were saying, like I think it's not so useful unless you're doing it, the way they say, where you need to do 90 days, and then you need to be at least a couple times a week. Like,
Yeah.
if it's not a habit
Yeah.
and you're not going in there and creating, relationships and
Hmm.
uh, if you're not working the program, then yeah, it definitely can start to feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is another thing, which is so many rehabs and so many all this stuff.
Right.
By the time I got to the last one, I kind of figured out what my plan was, and I'd been to so many AA meetings,
Yeah.
and really I ruined it for myself because by having to go there and get my paper signed and
Hmm.
all that stuff,
Hmm.
that had put kind of a bad taste in
Yeah.
my mouth, and that's nobody's fault but my own. But
Right.
at that point, I was like, yeah, I'm not. I don't think I'm an AA guy.
Yeah.
I've got to figure this out. Um,
I think it was a necessary step for me.
yeah,
I think as far as like the long term end of sobriety goes, I think that that was a step that had to happen early on.
well, even just you know whatever the first step, I can't even remember, but admitting,
admitting you have a problem,
yeah,
I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
to even step foot in
I
there and
got the
be
book
like,
right there. We can look.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, even just to step foot in there is, that says
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason it was like so necessary, at least for me personally at the beginning, was because I was kind of at the very beginning, I knew that I was done with it, but there was still like, because I've got like a little bit of an egotistical side in there, okay?
Yeah,
Like I can't help it. I've had it forever. And like that part of me was still,
yeah,
just itching a little bit.
yeah,
And I've learned to live with that side, and I've come to realize that that
yeah,
side is not leaving. That is in me.
yeah.
Like sometimes I just get a little
You get to feeling yourself.
yeah, sometimes you know what I'm talking. You know that fucking like like I just get fired up sometimes. And like I spent so long thinking that the fix all to everything was I had to get rid of that. And like then I realized I was like, oh wait, that's probably not ever gonna happen. I just have to realize how to like channel this into something
Of
else.
course.
And just it was like a whole process of just like becoming okay with myself. Because rounding back to what I was saying about like the ego side of me was still like, I don't belong here.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't be in these meetings. Like,
Yeah,
what am I doing?
yeah,
And then after just like, a couple meetings that went by, I was like, I was like, I'm actually like, these are kind of my people a little bit.
yeah.
I was like, it was weird to be in a room with so many people that just related and
Mm-hmm.
understood. That was weird.
Yeah,
That was like a new feeling at first.
yeah,
To be in a room where it was like everyone understood.
yeah,
Exactly. Every story that you would hear, everything that would get said, like you would just like everyone was just laughing along because
yeah,
you were just like, I've been there,
yeah,
done that.
yeah,
Like, oh, I got a story real similar to that.
yeah,
Like, I started to realize I was like, oh, well, you know, maybe I am. Maybe I should be here a little bit.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
I'm not that far off where I'm actually supposed to be at.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
D- Yeah, but like after just like like I said, it was great, and like I said, I think it was definitely necessary because that was the place where the ego side of it kind of fell
Mm-hmm.
in those meetings.
Yeah,
Once like I started to realize how much I was relating to everybody, and then I started sharing, and some of the things that I would share, and I after I said it, I was kind of like, oh,
mm-hmm.
that just kind of
Yeah,
like came out, I was like that, whatever it was, and so I think that part was super necessary. I don't think that I would have came to that like point, that realization, that I don't know, ego death kind of thing. Like
yeah,
I don't know if I would have ever came to that
mm-hmm.
if I hadn't put myself,
Yeah,
in those rooms
yeah,
to be vulnerable
yeah.
and to put that out there. So
No, I remember. I remember one time. It just came to my mind since you were talking about it. But there is one meeting that I would like to go back to. And it's an old timers meeting in Russellville, Kentucky. And I remember going there. I had been there a couple of times. Really just going. And it was just a handful of older people that had all been sober for 30 something years.
hmm
In walks me. They just, you know, they got a kick out of it. But
yeah,
I remember going in there one time after I had this car, um, and I'd been out, doing drugs all night. And long story short, I ended up I put it in this like ravine thing out in the middle of nowhere in Butler County, and I was in terrible shape. I mean, that was just an insane. It anyway. The car blew up, like actually blew up in a fire. Like it was like a 20-foot ravine. Like it was really, really, really bad.
yeah,
And because I had nodded off while driving
mm,
and hit a culvert down into this and hit a tree head on, man. I remember, no seatbelt, like needle hanging on my arm, like dude,
yeah,
terrible, terrible situation to be in.
yeah,
terrible. Like I
Yeah.
came to as I was getting ready to hit this tree
Mm.
midair and seeing, the rocks down in this ravine, and I was like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
And that knocked me out again. And anyway, I wake up and end up crawling out, and this thing's on fire, and terrible night, to say the
Mm.
least. And just I'm at the end of myself. Somehow I don't go to jail. Like the people, the fire department and the cops and they were just like, dude, how are you alive? Like, you know, didn't didn't search nothing. It was insane. It was insane. Um, but that next morning, I kind of sleep it off or whatever. And that next morning, I'm like, I do not know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I go to that meeting that I, just told you about, and I'm banged up and
Yeah.
all this. Like, clearly something has went wrong from the
Yeah.
last time that y'all saw me.
Yeah.
And I walk in there. They gave me a real, pep talk. Hey man, this is your opportunity to,
Yeah.
when I had to, I had my ego gone. I was like, I was broken sitting in
Mhm.
there and didn't even hardly share anything, just shared enough that they all understood, what had happened and, what my life looks like and, how desperately I just want to be a normal person.
Mhm.
But I would, man, I would love to find a time to go back there
Yeah.
because I'm sure those same people are still sitting there every Saturday morning or whatever
Yeah.
it is. Uh, just to say,
Yeah.
hey, maybe I could go pick up a 5-year chip there or something.
There you
I
go.
don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't even know why exactly I shared that, but that crossed my mind when you were talking about it.
Yeah. No, that was I remember that happened. Then talk about the car exploded and
Yeah,
said you had like crawled out just before.
yeah,
Um, you know, again going back to whatever you believe is your higher power, you know, it it's kind of like, too many coincidences. Do you remember that phone call that we had after things that kind of popped off with me and then we had a phone call and I'd been kicked out and it was like the last relapse and then like the last time that me and brother got back together and like we've been solid since and it was crazy. um this is whenever I started, my idea of God is not exactly the idea I think of like a normal everyday Christian or whatever, but I definitely think there's like a higher power and something else going on. And the only reason is because I've just been bailed out,
yeah,
and the fact that I'm even we're even sitting here alone, I feel like is a testament to something.
yeah,
Like got us out of that situation
yeah,
because there was no reason that we should have walked away from a lot of the situations that we were in. But I remember it was that last time, and I kind of started I like had that moment where I was like, I know that this is it. I was like, if I can just get back
yeah,
in that house,
yeah,
and if I can just convince, Briley, like, I'm telling you, this is it. And that's
yeah,
like going back to it's so hard
yeah,
whenever you're talking about like, no, I really know this is it because
yeah,
they're just like, oh yeah, here we go again. But you're like, but in your mind, like you said, there's like a time that comes where you're like, no, really, like,
yeah,
I'm really over this shit.
yeah,
Like, this is really it. Um, and yeah, she pretty much agreed to like let me come back and we were gonna talk things out and try to figure stuff out, like move forward. And I was headed home, back to North City to get my stuff from my parents' house. and it was like a crazy euphoric feeling that I got just like driving down the road, and it was
Yeah.
like almost, it was like literally, I swear, it was like the sky got like super bright, and it was just like, it was like 10 seconds of just like this crazy euphoric, and I got cold chills, and I just knew it, like in that moment I was like, this is it for real.
Yeah.
I was like, she's agreed to talk. I was like, I'm in. I was like, I'm in. Like that's
Yeah.
all I needed. And like it was just like I knew. I was like, and then this like crazy euphoric feeling happens, and I like it was like an insane, all these worries that I had had of like
Mhm.
the past prior months of like getting arrested, getting kicked out, all of this stuff, like lost my job, all of these worries that were so bad. Anyone else, like you'd have every reason to just be like super depressed, and you just like my life is over.
Yeah.
But like in that moment, after all those, like a couple things happened, I had this insane calmness that came over me.
Yeah.
And like I was like, it like caught my attention. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm way too calm
Yeah.
for how bad shit's been right now. Like I haven't felt this, but I knew, I was like, I'm getting back in that house. And I knew, I was like, this is it. And then I get home, haven't heard from you in forever.
Mhm.
I'm home literally just packing my stuff up. My phone rings and you're calling me. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't heard from this guy in months. I was like,
Yeah.
my phone's ringing and Tucker's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I answered the phone and I was like, dude, like this is what is going on? And I remember, I think I
Yeah.
told you on the phone, like
Mhm.
those events that had happened. I don't know if you remember that phone call. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, these are the things that are going on. And I don't know if you remember what you said or not, but you said it sounds like you're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you said, and I
Yeah.
still remember it to
Yeah.
this day. And I was like, he's fucking. I was like, he's right. I was like, I am. And I knew it. I was like, there's a weird like calmness, and then it was like, whenever you said that, I was like, oh, he just confirmed. Like the
Yeah.
whole way home, I was like,
I'm getting back
yeah.
in
I was
there.
like, I know this is it. And then
Yeah.
like I
No,
then I
I get
talked to
it.
you on the phone, and I was like, he like confirmed.
Yeah.
Like I was like, yeah. I was like, this is it for
Yeah.
sure. And it's like been sober since, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, like is that a, you know, because you were raised, you know, with religion
Sure.
and you know, being a big part of your life, and um, was it hard for you to get back in? Like, okay, not like get back in. Was there was there a time where your like idea of God was like you weren't a believer,
Absolutely.
and you were like that was
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm asking is like whenever you kind of came back around
Mhm.
to the idea of
Mhm.
God and
Sure.
kind of getting back in that relationship. How was that at first? Was that
Mhm.
like, was there like saltiness there of like
Yeah.
that, you
Yeah.
know, if you were there, how could this happen to me? That type of thing?
Yeah. So the first program that I went to, that Hope House,
Mm-hmm.
it was a faith-based program,
Mm-hmm.
um, and yeah, I battled that. Um, for one, because up until that point, um, I felt, well, I knew that I had never been saved,
Mm-hmm.
um, and uh, and I was angry, like I said, with the world, but
Yeah.
also with God.
Yeah.
I believed, you know, I, especially at that time, I didn't know what I know now. Um, I thought I was just being punished for being a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I didn't know, and I didn't see, that those things, one, the things that I've been through, because like, like the story I just told you about driving off into it, I've done things just like that or worse a million, I don't know how many times,
Sure.
over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Um, and I was super angry. Um, and I wanted, to be able to create that relationship,
Mm-hmm.
because there was a part of me that was like, yeah, I'm here for a reason, beyond just trying
Right.
to get sober.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, but I mean, and I did. I feel as if I got saved. I mean, I had a moment there where, um, I did say a prayer and I did mean it, and you know, yeah, I got saved there.
Yeah.
Um, but I battled that. That was one of the things I battled
Mhm.
leaving there, and really up until it's still to this day. I still,
Yeah.
I struggle. I struggle to, my new addiction is work.
Yeah.
Um, and I struggle to go to church. Thankfully, the girl that I am with now,
Mhm.
we just went to church together for the first time this morning.
Amen.
Um, it is an important part of my life.
Yeah.
Um, but to and we'll get into what I'm doing now, but uh, looking back, I'm unbelievably grateful
Yeah.
to God for the things that I had to go through to
Mhm.
have the mindset that I have now, um, to be able to bounce back from things. I've been so incredibly blessed, man,
Mhm.
with not just how life's going, but um, the people I've met along the way.
Sure.
Um, I've lived, no matter how you look at it, I've lived an exciting life.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah.
And I know where it comes from.
Yeah.
Uh, and I stand on that pretty firmly.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like a weird part of it, where it's like um it's almost like I had to go through this
Yeah.
because obviously, I wouldn't be who I am, without but that's like, part of me is like, man, that's created so much of like the mindset change that I've had and developed and like, this whole way of living to, finding different ways to push myself. And it's like none of that would have happened had I not you know, pretty much been at
Yeah.
the bottom.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have any of that sort of like edge or mindset or
Hmm.
any of that. And, you know,
Yeah.
part of me, I'm like, man, without that, I don't know what I would be.
Yeah. And people argue that and say, well, you could have found it some other way,
Yeah.
or whatever. But unless you've been there
Hmm.
and felt that kind of you know
Yeah.
that kind of pain, and yeah, that's a whole new. People suffer in different ways, but
Hmm.
and everybody goes through it in their life one way or another. But there's a that's a special type of hurt,
Yeah.
you know, to have to go through.
Yeah. Were there times where you wanted to end it all and call it quits?
Yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah,
I got you. Yeah. That was,
yeah.
I don't know, I don't remember who I was talking to, but that was one of the, one of the ways to, yeah, describe it, just the pain, it's
Hmm.
like everything else you could live with, and it was, I think maybe for me, it was just like pain of just like looking back and you are seeing the total like path of destruction that you've kind of left behind. And that's like a lot to take in.
Yeah.
And, I don't, I never really like felt, I mean, I had like pity moments, but I was never like upset about what I'd done to myself personally.
Hmm.
I was
Hmm.
just like everyone else that had what was involved
Hmm.
is what really bothered me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
is is seeing all the ones around me that uh had to be involved, and you know, thankfully they weren't involved because if I didn't have anyone involved and had no one that cared, like,
Yeah.
whew, like,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was.
That's a whole new. Because I had times like that.
Hmm.
Um. Because that was my go-to. I would
Yeah.
run as far away as I possibly could.
Yeah.
To feel like I'm not hurting anyone else other than myself.
Sure.
Um. And then to overdose, wake up in a hospital or psych ward or wherever,
Hmm.
and realize, here again. You know, nobody's here.
Right.
Uh, you know, I can't even take care of myself at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's yeah, it's hard times. Hard times, bud.
When was the first overdose? When did?
Well, thankfully there is uh uh gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Where the anybody can bring you back. What do they call that?
Oh, Narcan.
Narcan, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've OD'd many times. Thankfully, people had Narcan, people had this or that.
Right.
I don't even. First one would have been. Man, I just don't even really remember. To
Yeah.
be honest with
Yeah. Jumping back forward, or like later on, the story that you told earlier about like crashing your car, was that the was that the last time?
you. No,
No.
no. Actually, I
When?
can tell you. Uh, well, the last time was right before I got sober, for real. Um, I had just dropped everything, and decided I'm done. This is it. And I drove to Cincinnati, because that's where I went to pick stuff up and just escape. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't know anybody in Cincinnati.
Right.
Nobody there knows me.
Yeah.
And I had just been up there. I mean, I didn't make it a week that time. Um, and I had had a warning the day before. I was heavily into crack and fentanyl or heroin, whatever
Mm-hmm.
it was at the time. And I had smoked myself into a like it is a frightening reality to sit back and be like, I'm 100% vulnerable right now.
Mm.
I cannot take care of myself, like, and not just in a uh roundabout way. Like I've been getting high, my life's a mess. Like in this moment, physically,
Yeah.
I cannot.
Yeah.
If somebody
So.
walked in the door right now, they could take everything I own. They could, kill me. They could do
Yeah.
anything. I'm completely vulnerable right now. Um, and I don't know, technically what it would be, but I guess it would be. I finally went and tried to like lay down. My my heart was just thumping so hard, man. And I don't know if it was like an overdose or what. I believe it was some sort of spiritual,
Mm.
moment.
Mm.
But I could feel. Sounds so crazy. Uh, I could feel something and I think it was death, man.
Yeah.
Trying to come up these stairs into this room that I was in,
Yeah.
trying to sleep, and I could feel it, like trying to take me,
Yeah.
and and uh, and I don't know if that will resonate with anybody. I don't know if that. I hope nobody else ever has to feel that. I don't know if that's what it actually feels like to die.
Mm.
Um, but I could feel whatever it was trying to come up the stairs, and I was praying. I was praying, literally praying. I'm highest I've ever been,
Yeah.
and I'm laying there praying, like I know that death is literally around the corner,
Yeah.
and it's trying to come and get me,
Yeah.
and there's nothing I can do because I'm 100% vulnerable right
Right.
now. And I'm praying, and I can feel it, like pushing it back down the stairs.
Yeah.
And granted, this can all just be a
Sure.
drug induced, whatever. You
Sure.
think what, anybody can think what they want, but I remember being able to push it back down the stairs,
Yeah.
and I battled this for what felt like forever. And finally, I just had no energy left, and it came, and everything went black. Um, and I remember being able to hear things, and like I could hear people that had been important in my life, like praying for me, like, and I thought that I thought that I was dying, or like once it did take me and everything went black, but I was still somewhat, I knew what was going on. I could hear these people, um, uh, one being my dad, for some reason, Chad Everett, um, Timmy from Redeemed, Justin Crow, like several people that just have
Yeah.
been super important in my life. Like I could hear them, and I was like, man, am I in a coma, like in the hospital,
Right.
or what? You know, are these people here? It was the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
And somehow, and the next day, I opened my eyes, and it was over. Um, but I knew right then and there, whenever I opened my eyes, I was like, this is. It was one of those moments. I was like, this is your opportunity to get it together,
Yeah.
because this is what's going to happen.
Right.
And I didn't listen. That same day, I I overdosed on fentanyl. I think it's what they said was in my system. I shot up everything that I could
Sure.
that day, and yeah, I woke up. Man, that isn't. Yeah, that story gets even crazier. But um, yeah, I ended up in the hospital. Yeah, it was very, very rough time, but I knew, you know, I knew in that moment, God's trying to tell me, hey, look,
Mhm.
this is the point that you're at,
Yeah.
and we've been here too many times.
Yeah. You gotta pick one.
Yeah, you've got to, and thank God, had grace on me one more time,
Yeah.
gave me some grace. Um, but I knew in that moment that kind of sealed the deal for me. I was like, yeah, he's out there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
Mhm.
That's a no, I definitely I can see that. Even yeah, the idea, the story of feeling whatever it was like around the corner and kind of knowing that it's sort of that now or never
Mhm.
type of moment. I think that's a yeah.
And to be okay with it,
Yeah.
you know, at that period of time,
Mhm.
um, and eventually we'll get to the good, but to just to so people understand, like that's how bad it can get. I
Yeah.
was, I did my last shot that day after having that experience. Um, Pretty much as prepared as one can be,
Mhm.
that this is probably my last one ever,
Mm.
and I'm going out. Uh, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't necessarily intending to,
Right.
but if it was gonna happen,
Yeah.
you know, let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just curious, what's the good? You said to get to the good.
What's going on now?
Yeah.
What life looks like
So
now.
yeah, okay. So yeah, that's what transitioning forward and okay. Well, I guess so you said you're at that point where you know, you knew what the next one probably entailed,
Uh-huh.
but it didn't.
Didn't.
And you woke up again. What was different waking up this time as compared to where just before it was one day and you were back to using again, didn't care, and then the next day to wake up and feel like, okay, no, that was it. Because that's a crazy line to
Yeah.
just draw.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I knew that whole day, after I had that experience, and then I that's how strong addiction is,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
I went through that day knowing, as soon as I picked up whatever I started with that day, I was like, I'm making a decision right here. But when it calls, I answer,
hmm
right? I'm a slave. I'm a
yeah,
slave to this,
yeah,
you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And when it tells me to jump, I jump. I don't even ask how high.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and so that but I went the whole day knowing this is not going to end well. When
So it was
you,
like either this is gonna be the end of it, or I'm gonna wake up and I'm done. Or is that kind of the idea
I
of
mean,
like, or
yeah, no, I mean, at that time, yeah.
because yeah, it's just like you know, I feel like it's people normally have like they'll go months, maybe relapse and go months again, and for it didn't seem like you really had that break of time before it was just like
Hmm.
you drew the line. You
Sure.
said that was enough.
Yeah. Well, waking up in the hospital again,
Yeah.
um, I was still in a kind of delusion because I'd been doing uppers as well as downers. So like it was whenever they did bring me back, now I'm in a whole other psychotic
Mm.
episode where nothing's actually,
Mm.
you know, reality isn't there, and I'm sick because Narcan puts you into withdrawal.
Mm.
So now I'm sick, but I'm still in a delusion. But
Yeah.
I definitely don't know that because I just know that I'm sick, and all these crazy things
Right.
are going on in my mind.
Mm.
So I'm calling, I call people, and so now people know what's going on, and it is yeah. When I came to in the hospital and like actually came back down to earth, and
Mm.
it's like, yeah, this whatever I got to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah. So moving on, you walked. That was it. Walked out of there and said that was it. Done with it.
yeah, went to
And,
another year-long program, but yes,
yeah. Oh, okay. That was never the
hmm
second. And
yes,
um, after that one. So after that, what was that like getting out of, the second time of a year long program? And like, have you, like, the whole time we were in there, you were like, yeah, this is it.
yeah,
You're like, I know this is gonna be it. Yeah.
yeah,
Is that whenever you got into construction? Was it
yeah,
right after that?
yeah,
When you started doing,
yeah. I started doing construction while I was there. Yeah, about 3 months into that program. Um, because before that, I could only work at factories or, um, I mean, not knocking that.
sure,
People, some people enjoy that,
right.
uh, but my mind moves,
Hmm.
very quickly, and I've got to have a lot,
Yeah,
going on and whatever. But so there was a part of me that just knew that that was going to be a good fit, at least for the time being, to keep me busy, and
right.
hopefully I'd be tired at the end of the day, and
Yeah,
all these things.
that's a big one.
Yeah.
The That's why I got so much into like working out and
Mhm.
everything that I started doing because I realized I was like, if I'm physically exhausted,
Yeah.
then like mentally I'm pretty beat.
Yeah.
But like if I don't wear myself out,
Yeah.
like I will not shut off.
Yeah.
Like I can't.
Yeah.
So
It's a gift and a curse.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why the. Rush, have you got back in the gym? Are you working out? No.
Right now?
Yeah.
No.
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 How come?
Man,
Too
if you knew
busy?
my schedule, it's,
Yeah.
it's insane right now.
So when did you said that's kind of how you started with construction, but you said now you got your own company, and I know when did you start flipping houses?
Well, I started in construction, and I learned a lot and learned quickly. And I lived in a after that program, I went and lived in like a sober living house for like an additional 2 years.
Mm,
Um, just kind of some extra, support.
yeah,
Um, whatever, pretty big sacrifice as far as, my freedom and
right.
all this stuff. But so I was actually living in one of those houses um, whenever I made that jump and decided to try and do that. It just seemed like the natural kind of next
Yeah.
step.
Right.
At that time, it was either try to do something like that or start a business or
Hmm.
you know whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that one house I saw some pictures of, you had that thing tore down to nothing.
yeah, that was the first one.
That was the very
That
first
was
one.
rough.
Was it?
Yeah, it
Li-
sucked.
Like
Yeah.
the fire, that was the fire by yourself? You did that? Dang.
Yeah.
What was rough about it? What was the worst part?
Well, there's something to be said about buying an existing home that's 100 and something years old and trying to
Yeah.
make it new.
Right.
Um, that's an incredibly difficult task.
Yeah.
Um, but especially that one, it was in incredibly bad shape. It's the only reason able to buy it. Like, um, holes in the floor. Like it was definitely not livable.
Yeah.
Um, but I had to tear out all of the joists, everything, completely refigured the floor plan, everything. And then the demo process takes time, especially alone. Um, there's some pretty heavy construction involved in
Hmm.
and doing structural work like that.
Right.
And to do it alone is a pretty
Yeah, I guarantee it.
taxing task, time
Yeah.
consuming.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I quickly learned, not quickly, that house took about 7 months to turn it around and be able to sell it.
Yeah.
Um, but thankfully, that house came with an extra lot that was right next door, and the guy just didn't want it.
Hmm.
So it came with it, and so I went to the bank and it's okay. You just did this. Hopefully that gives me a little bit of credibility. All that
Yeah.
stuff. And
Right.
got a loan and built a house next to it, and that took like under like 90 days or something.
Yeah.
Um, from start to sell.
Yeah.
And I was like, shoot, that was by myself as well. Labor wise, and I was like, that's way, you know, it's way
Yeah.
better. And no demo.
Right.
I had to learn a lot of things like about digging footers
Right.
and just managing other trades.
Hmm.
To be efficient through the process. But uh, it's something I picked up on pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And that's the direction I'm headed.
Is it just building
Just
homes? Just building
yeah,
homes. Damn.
yeah,
That's yeah, I mean, I don't know, it doesn't surprise me. You were always when you like back when we worked at Huck's, dude, and you're working 100 hours a week or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
insane hours and
yeah,
just um
yeah,
so
yeah. I enjoy, man. I credit a lot of well, for one, my sobriety. A lot of it is because I've found I found something I'm
yeah.
passionate about.
Hmm.
That's incredibly important.
Yeah.
Um, and I take it a little bit far. You know, I I definitely
That's what we do.
I work too much.
Yeah.
Right? I love it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's incredibly important.
Yeah. Yeah, redirecting, like I said, kind of that energy and,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
keeping yourself busy. And
yeah,
that's, oh man, it's even people that that haven't struggled with addiction or anything, but just finding your passion
yeah,
and find something that you do. There's not a lot of people that do,
yeah,
that
yeah,
find something that they love to do or something that gets them out of bed and they're excited to go do or whatever it is. And,
yeah,
um, then, there's certain people, kind of like ourselves, is like, well, without those things, we would probably fall apart,
yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
and it's those things that keep us sane and on the right path.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
damn. So what's up? What's next?
Well,
What?
after that one, I built another one. Um, and that one, uh, it took even less time. Uh, but then this storm happened in Owensboro, the hailstorm, and start getting phone calls about doing this, doing that. If you live in Owensboro, every every house, e- every house needs a roof and new siding. Every house, gutters, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and I saw an opportunity, um, and kind of started marketing a little bit towards that,
Right.
and me and a handful of other guys that I had hired, um, or not a handful, but a few. We just started working and trying to do as much as we could, and like I told you earlier, was I had actually those other guys had already left, and I was on a roof right before the um, right before the sun was going down, and this truck stopped next to the driveway where I was working.
Yeah.
Guy climbs up the ladder, and we make a deal, and uh, you know I've been super blessed with how that's gone.
Yeah.
Um, and we've done super well, unbelievably well. Um, I'm actually starting tomorrow morning, at 5 a.m. We're
There you go.
starting a second crew. Um,
Hell yeah.
so that'll be two crews running every day.
Yeah.
Um, but I've got this project that I'm trying to start, um, building these duplexes,
Yeah.
down close to the river in Owensboro, and it's crazy, man, because that was what I was fixated on. It's time to go on that, and now I'm doing this stuff, and these uh with the storm, and it's been so good for me, good for a lot of people. I've got so much going on with that. I can't even
Yeah.
hardly think about
Right.
the thing that had my full focus
Yeah.
4 months ago.
Yeah.
Um, and but it's been great, even though me and these people started off a
Yeah.
little bit rocky.
Right.
I've been super fortunate with them. Uh, they're Hispanic people, and for some reason I just, because I could stop that
Yeah.
today and
Right.
go back to what I do.
Yeah.
Um, but man, these people have become like
Yeah.
family to me.
Yeah.
Um, I really enjoy being around them, and working with. I work with them most
Yeah.
days. Sometimes I have to take care of other things, but I love to be able to put my
Sure.
tool belt on and work with them.
Yeah.
They love that too.
Right.
We have a great time. Um,
Yeah.
but
It's neat to start to see those priorities kind of shift,
yeah, yeah.
where it's, you get into it for one thing, it's
Hmm.
this, and now you're coming around to it's like, well, obviously we're still here to make money, but now you're like, what's more important,
Yeah.
enjoying being around you guys or, it's always interesting to see those kinds of shifts in people
Yeah.
whenever priorities shift.
Hmm.
And it's always an interesting
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
to see and to go through it. And
Absolutely.
um, yeah, starting to figure out what's really important.
Yeah. Oh, I
And
love the new challenges.
yeah,
And really, I mean, like now at this point, like I work to them every day, every single day for 3 months, 4 months, and I'm nobody, right? Um, and so we ran out of everything, all of my roofs and siding and all this stuff. We real quick,
Yeah.
3 months done. Uh, and I had an opportunity there to be like, hey, this has been great. And because
Yeah.
at that time it had been really great for me, and it had been great for them because
Yeah.
that's what they do. That's what they wanted to,
Yeah.
you know. Uh, but something, and I've learned over the last 5 years,
Yeah.
to pay attention to those things.
Yeah.
When something's hitting me in my gut that, hey, there's something else I'm supposed to do here.
Right.
And I still to this day don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But I knew at that time I was, I gotta help these people out
Yeah.
somehow. They've been
Yeah.
super good to me.
Right.
And I've done super well,
Yeah.
you know. And so I got us hooked up with one of the biggest contractors um in Owensboro, who's got will have work for the next 2 to 3 years.
Sweet.
Um, and I probably wouldn't do it. I know I wouldn't do it because I would have insurance and tools and
Right.
all these things. If I
Yeah.
didn't make money, I wouldn't do it.
Right. Well, sure.
But
You gotta survive.
yeah, so I've taken a significant, cut in my pay, but they still are getting, everything they were getting before,
Right.
with guaranteed work for the next who knows how
Sure.
long. And that felt like the right thing.
Yeah.
Um, and
Well,
I didn't
trades
have,
like that, the security
oh yeah,
finding. I mean, you know how it is. Any of those trades of fiber optic, whatever it is, getting contracts or
mhm,
whenever you can find, especially find somewhere where you're already at. It's
mhm,
hard to find somewhere where you can get 2 years of work without having to go 12 hours from here.
yeah,
It's really hard.
yeah,
Find stuff around here you can get like, jobs that'll last weeks, then it's
yeah,
over. And
yeah,
yeah, that kind of stability in the trades and
yeah,
those kinds of things are worth a lot.
yeah, yeah. And I've been concerned about how that was gonna go, if that was gonna be a good decision, and I'm still, going back and forth because
Right.
man, it's so difficult.
Yeah.
But like I said, we're starting. You know, th- the contractor's super pleased.
Yeah.
Hey, I was like, man, I'm in real tight with these people,
Hmm.
and like we can get another crew.
Yeah.
Um,
Damn.
and so put it together. We'll see how it goes this week,
Yeah.
but um, it's just crazy to see how things play out when you just keep doing the next right thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I say that, and it sounds like things are great and things are awesome, and they are. But right now you're catching me at the most stretched
Sure.
out that I've been
Really.
probably probably ever.
Yeah.
Um, I there's so much going on. Uh,
Hmm.
it's not always great.
It's not always easy to make the
Definitely
next
not
right
always
decision.
easy.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not.
no,
It really is a daily,
yeah,
daily battle. That's what I still gotta tell myself that sometimes.
yeah,
I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do tomorrow, but
yeah,
like sober today.
yeah,
I'm gonna do this and this today. I got my day planned out till noon, and let's just make it to
yeah,
noon. We'll see what happens after that.
yeah,
Uh, yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy.
It's tough, man. Having stuff stacked up, and it's not going away.
No, it's only getting bigger.
Responsibilities, yeah.
Yeah, it's only getting bigger. Yeah, dude, I
Yeah,
heard that.
you know, things are great now, and I'm super fortunate, super blessed.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I'm grateful that God has given me an opportunity to be where I'm at.
Hmm.
Um, you know, think back to all the really difficult times, and I don't deserve to be, you know, in the position I'm in at the moment. You know, I don't deserve it at all. But
Hmm.
um, I'm here, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do to be sure that
Hell yeah.
you know,
No,
I'll be
that's
proud of, of what I make of it.
yeah.
You know, another opportunity, another chance.
Yeah. That's yeah. Getting those extra chances, it's not everyone does, and it's yeah. Dude, yeah, it is. It's wild. So many. To be sitting here now,
Yeah,
after everything, and even everything that we just talked about for the last 2 hours, like, doesn't even hardly scratch the
no,
surface. Like, that doesn't even really get into any of the details. It's just
yeah,
like how it was back then. But um, yeah, dude, I appreciate you coming over, dude.
yeah.
Coming over and talking,
Thanks for having
and
me.
yeah, man, it's been too long. Glad you came over and shared your story, and um, I think it's a testament, for people to see and to hear, um, you know, where you're at and how serious addiction is, especially even in these small towns that think that you're safe from that kind of thing, and think that you're in your little town of 1,000 or a couple thousand, and you think that stuff's not happening right there in your little spot, and it just shows how real it is, and it's everywhere. And uh but then to hear, now that you're running your own business, um it's yeah, it was, if anything, that's what hopefully people get out of this,
Yeah,
to see.
anything's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause like I said, there's a handful of people that really know how it was back then, and
yeah,
me, you, and Bernie, and
yeah,
that's it. Really, that really know
yeah,
like how things were, and so to sit here, across from you now with years of sobriety, and and like you said, you're running your own business and doing all these things. It's I wouldn't say it's shocking to me. It doesn't surprise me that that you're doing it. But yeah, just to know where you were at and where we were at, and now to be here, and
yeah,
it's a wild thing.
yeah. It is. It is super, super grateful, man.
Hopefully we'll have to come out of this again.
Yeah,
It won't be a one time only thing.
yeah.
No, for sure. As for you guys, appreciate you guys listening. Um, anything else you want to add, pitch in before we hop off here?
No, man, just thanks for having me, and
Yeah,
yeah, it's been
of
a
course.
pleasure.
Oh, you guys, make sure you guys are checking out the Hydrate 1-2 IV Wellness. And check them out on Facebook and Instagram. Get your IV scheduled with Briley. It is hot out there. You guys are sweating a lot. You need to get those IV scheduled, man. Get them in. Yeah, that's it. Peace.